if I may. The city has the housing program, the redevelopment agency, and one of the programs that it has is assistance for replacing air conditioners, especially for low and very low family members. We have a program that provides deferred and even grants for elderly and very low income families that need assistance. So every time we go in there, and even when we do renovation on the homes, we're sure that the units that are outdated or that are very old, which usually uses a lot of energy, and so because of this, their electrical bill is very high, then we encourage them to replace them so that they can get a unit that will be energy or rather conserve energy. So through the city's housing program, we encourage the family members or property owners to replace their old units to new ones.
How many people, just a question, I'm curious, maybe somebody else's, have you assisted anybody this year? Any elderly person or any very low income families?
There has been some families that have been assisted. Usually, well, this year I would say maybe 2 or 3 families have been assisted.
How many?
2 or 3 families.
How do we advertise it?
Usually it's advertised, we do put a flyer that was put, I think at the end of the year, there was a flyer that went out. Also through the word of mouth, we have local contractors that go out and that work for the program. They go out and they inform them as well, so there's different methods of advertisement that's put out. We've also put some ads in the local, I won't say grocery stores, but neighborhood stores where they can find these programs there.
Looks like a good program. Maybe ought to consider advertising more. I'm sure there are more than 2
Oh, yeah.
families.
Usually on an annual basis, we'll assist up to 10 property owners with this type of program. And the majority usually ends up being elderly families.
The next question I had was about
Dr.
La Jolla grounds, but I think we've already discussed that. Then under actions in support of removing constraints, under section 4 it says, continue the program to allocate funds to defray the cost of land and or required offsite improvements for lower income housing projects. What are the city's programs to help defray the cost of acquisition of these properties? Can anyone answer that? Because it's in this housing.
I'm having trouble following you. Where are you?
Page 11.
Page 11, number 4. E4. What are those programs? I have an interest in knowing.
Again, this was a policy from the prior housing owner, and I'm not familiar with the details of how that program was set up and run. So I do not have an answer for you tonight.
I'm not trying to make these are questions I answered. Nothing. Okay.
Should we move in with Mr. We have a couple more items.
Pardon me?
We have a couple more items.
Yeah. You know, would be nice to provide a negative declaration, but I think the questions I'm asking are legitimate questions, and I'd like to know if we stall them before we vote on it. Unless,
We have to open up for public comments. And we still have some items.
pardon me?
We still have to open a public hearing and close it.
This is the question and answer.
Go ahead.
I could work with your planning staff to provide you a more detailed answer.
Well, I know you would, but I think it's beneficial for the whole planning commission and the community to know these things, because asking us to provide a negative declaration on something we don't know, I'm just not comfortable. However, maybe the other two members are comfortable.
I'm not sure if this helps, but there are several program actions that are included in this document. And the negative declaration has been written on all of them. However, it is just a policy document. This document will not result in the production of any housing. It won't result in the construction of any roads. It doesn't identify, it doesn't call out any identifiable projects. So it's a goal, it's a statement of goals, and a lot of detail has yet to be worked out for many of those goal statements. But
And just from a clarification, I think the negative declaration is in this packet here, Mr. Selby. And that is where they give us the environmental impacts, which I guess, I just scanned it and everything is listed significant or no impact. So I have no problems in voting on the negative declaration on the impact, the environmental impact. Because again, it's not going to provide any new housing or anything. I think the problem is actually the second motion, which is going to be to actually approve the housing element update. That's where all these programs fall under. And I think that's where you might have a problem with all those programs, not knowing all the programs. As a whole, I can see that all these things are intended to further the city along with the housing. The only concern I have is when we look at the original one is that we way over exceeded moderate and above moderate housing, but very low income and low income are way behind. So the only thing we can do is that any program that's here, any future developer is, I don't know, and again, we can't force them because the developer is going to apply. And the catch-22 is they don't want to sell low income because it's probably not profitable. For them, the profit is going to be middle or above moderate income. So I don't know how we're going to bring up to where we should be for that low income housing.
And if I may, if this can help the commissioners a little bit more, I think Mr. Bierkamp has been saying this, that again, what's before you is a policy document, goals that the city wants to reach, not a specific project. When we do see a specific project, that's when you are going to see a more intensive environmental document. For example, you'd probably see a mitigated negative declaration or environmental impact report. At that time is when you really are going to see those type of environmental documents, because there is a specific project in mind. There are more specifics in detail and the likelihood of impact at that point. But here, when we're talking about generally how the city is going to grow regarding housing issues and the policies of what the city wants to implement and wants to look at what a project actually comes before it, that is what is being asked of you, policy concepts.
So, do I understand you correctly that you don't feel the person that presented this 100-page document has any obligation to answer any doubts or questions on what's written in the document? I don't understand.
No, I've never stated that. What I'm trying to explain to you is what the document is about.
And that's all I'm asking. I'm not against it. I'm just trying to be educated.